Plaid's winning election promise, but at what cost? First Minister Rhys Iorwerth has committed to expanding free childcare across Wales, but still hasn't set out a timetable for the plans or where his party will find the funds. Long delays for diagnosis and poor access to treatment. That's the reality for people living with dementia, according to a new report. Plus, a big round of applause for George, the award-winning Labrador, who's helping children discover the joy of reading.
And I'm at the bowling club where the members have been telling me the unique benefits of taking up the sport.
Hello, good evening to you. With childcare costs in Wales amongst the highest in the UK, Plaid Cymru's promise to expand free childcare was a key part of its election-winning campaign. But today the First Minister refused to set out an exact timetable for the plans. The party has pledged to provide 20 hours of funded care for all children over 9 months. But on a visit to a children's centre in Merthyr, while Rhys Iorwerth said it would happen very quickly, he declined to say exactly when. Our political editor Adrian Masters has tonight's top story.
Not everyone wanted to talk to the First Minister on his first official visit, but then some people had more important things to do. Important things for him too, namely showing that he won't drop the ball when it comes to the promise that his party has put above all others. And that is to offer funded childcare to all children over 9 months at an eventual cost of £400 million a year, to help ease the cost of living and enable parents like Emily to go back to work.
I know they can't do it overnight and it might not happen straight away, but it would be really helpful to families like my own.
You'd like it to come sooner?
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, because it is really tricky. It makes me feel anxious about going back to work, if I'm honest, because it is worrying to juggle it all.
Is the First Minister listening? I was just talking to Emily, one of the parents that you were talking to. She could really do with seeing this very soon. Why not sooner?
There are elements of this which we will be able to do very, very quickly. The completion of the rollout of the 2-year-old childcare offer, for example, something that Plaid Cymru was
year, by the end of the year?
We are looking to do that very, very, very quickly. But there are elements then in terms of building a workforce, aligning the funding to deliver it at full rollout that I think people expect will take a little bit longer, because this has to be sustainable. We're not doing something here, as a quick win. We are doing something which is a sustainable win for families and communities length and breadth of Wales for many years to come. We've got to get this right.
Those working in the sector welcome the move but want more detail.
It will be important that it's properly funded, that the sufficient amount of funding is coming through to the childcare providers so they can run their provision, and they've got all the qualified workforce, the environment and everything else that they need to run that provision. So
it all comes down to the right funding.
It does come down to the right funding.
And funding is exactly what's on the mind of Plaid Cymru's opponents.
Absolutely nobody can disagree that helping out families in need and allowing people to sort of lower their childcare costs is a fundamentally good idea. And, Reform are very much willing to work with Plaid on what we think are good ideas. However, how are they going to fund it? I think we've worked out it would roughly cost around 400 million.
Plaid Cymru announced this policy over 7 months ago. We're still yet to hear how they are going to pay for that. And I think there's also questions around the training of staff, the childcare providers themselves.
There'll be a lot more questions like that pouring in for the First Minister. No one said that being in government would be child's play.
That is perfect like that. Thank you.
And Adrian's with us now. Well, this issue really is starting to bubble up, isn't it? You're at Welsh Government headquarters this evening. What does today's visit tell us about the way politics is likely to play out over the coming months?
It gives us a good insight into the government and what it says its priorities are, and also into how its opponents plan to approach this new era in Welsh politics. It has been, as you say, a busy week of first, both here at Welsh Government headquarters and on the road, and in particular this first visit. And I think choosing to focus on childcare for the very first visit. If we had any doubt that it was a central pledge, well, that doubt has long since evaporated. It is clearly centre and going to be centre for the Plaid Cymru government, but those questions remain. How much will it cost? How will the Welsh Government pay for it? Might something need to be cut in order to pay for it? When will it start? How quickly will it be rolled out? Those remain, and it's clear the opponents will carry on asking those, even though they're talking about using the language of being supportive, and there is a possibility of parties working together. They've got lots of questions. So do we.
Lots still to answer with these new dynamics in play as well. Adrian, thank you. Elsewhere tonight, an increase in fuel duty planned for September has been scrapped. The Prime Minister told MPs the 5 pence per litre fuel duty cut will be extended into next year to help drivers with soaring petrol prices. It comes as inflation in the UK fell to its lowest level for more than a year last month. Well, our Consumer Affairs correspondent Kate Lewis is here to explain some of this, all of this for us. It sounds like good news on the face of it, but is it going to last for people?
Well, Andrea, for families across Wales, today's announcement may bring some cautious optimism. But I'm sure everyone, including us, is thinking, when will life actually start to feel cheaper? Inflation, the rate prices rise, has fallen to its lowest level in more than a year. That doesn't mean, though, the prices are coming down. What it does mean is they're just rising that bit more slowly. For households already stretched by higher food bills, mortgages and rents, there are signs some pressures could ease. That 5% fuel duty cut means, at least for drivers, I suppose, we're not going to be seeing an increase at the pumps this autumn. But for many families, everyday costs are still much higher than where they were a few years ago.
That's the thing, isn't it? You touched on it there, that inflation isn't going down, it's just slowing, so people are still paying more, and that's the real challenge here, isn't it?
Exactly that. Lower inflation doesn't mean lower prices. It just means prices are rising less quickly. It's not just families and individuals, it's businesses being affected by this too. We spoke to one coach company earlier, and they told us that these rising fuel costs are now forcing difficult decisions.
It's extremely hard, and what you don't want to do is pass it on to the consumer. And we've been swallowing that up for a couple of months now, and it's come to a point where we've had to make the difficult decision. There's no other option really other than to pass it on. However, we've not passed it all on. We've tried to split the share of the hit on that, which hopefully will help consumers.
So to give an example of what he's talking about there, the company says a coach trip to Spain with, say, 60 passengers now costs around 30% more in fuel, so around £1,800. Work that out, that's £30 more per person. They are absorbing still some of the costs, about £10, but they are now being forced to pass on about £20. And really, I suppose, that's why families may not feel relief immediately. While today's figures are encouraging, those prices are still high, meaning the pressures on family budgets are not disappearing.
Still a difficult time. Kate, thanks very much indeed for explaining that for us. People living with dementia in Wales are routinely facing long delays to diagnosis and poor access to treatment. That's according to a new report by Alzheimer's Society Cymru. The charity is now urging the Welsh Government to prioritise dementia care and introduce a new strategy to support patients. Carol Green has more.
My name's Moira Owens. I live in Carnarvon in North Wales. I look after my husband, who has vascular dementia, which he's had for the past 7 years.
But when Idwal was diagnosed, he wasn't offered any treatment, and there was no support for Moira.
Well, I was going out of that room in a terrible state of, wow, what's happening? Nobody to help me, nothing at all. I was abandoned in a way because I hadn't a clue who to turn to.
Moira and Idwal's experience is all too common. New research shows that by 2040, 70,000 people will be living with the disease here in Wales. But pressure groups say government policy has failed to keep up.
it can take on average 3.5 years from the onset of symptoms to a diagnosis, and that is just too long. We would not accept that state of affairs for conditions like cancer or heart disease, and yet it's become the norm for dementia. For people living with dementia, this means a really long wait with the unknown, not knowing what's happening to them, and a delay in getting the services and the treatments that they need.
Well, get a walk, Mum.
Thank you.
Idwal and Moira have found help through community support groups like FAIND and Dementia Active Gwynedd, who organised today's walk. Idwal, how much have you enjoyed the walk today?
I enjoy it very well, yeah. And seen a lot of friends here. I like fresh air.
A get-together at the end of the walk is a real morale boost. Meanwhile, the Welsh Government says the consultation on a new dementia strategy has just concluded, and its feedback will help inform any new approach going forward. And after over half a century together, Moira and Idwal are looking forward too. Are you going to keep her?
Yes. For another year.
For another year.
Because we've been married 55 years. So that's a good probation, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
And now it's one day at a time. Carol Green, ITV News, Bangor.
Well, plenty more for you. Still to come on Wales at 6. Ruth, what have you got for us?
Hello there. Well, I've got sunshine and rising temperatures. Any good? A little taste of summer just in time for the coming bank holiday, which I'm sure will be happy news where you are this evening, Ella.
Yes, Ruth, the members here at Llantrwst St Bowls Club will be hoping the weather gets a little warmer as they try and recruit new members.
That is all coming up for you. First, though, Wrexham forward Josh Windass is calling for the Championship playoffs to be started again after Southampton were kicked out for spying. Wrexham finished one place outside the playoffs, and Windass says the competition should now be reset, with Wrexham taking the Saints' place. Joanne Gallagher is at the racecourse for us this evening, looking at these developments. Good evening, Joanne. So firstly, what's the latest on Southampton in all of this?
Well, they've admitted spying on 3 clubs during the Championship season, including Middlesbrough, and an image has been released of a member of Southampton's team photographing, it looks like, Middlesbrough as they're training at their training ground up in Middlesbrough. Now, Middlesbrough have now taken that playoff spot. Southampton have, of course, been kicked out, but they say that they are appealing against the decision. They feel that it is disproportionate in relation to the crime, but it has left some Wrexham fans wondering, could it be to their benefit? Because, as you say, they finished just one spot away from that playoff position.
So that said, what is it that Wrexham players and fans now want to happen?
Well, Wrexham's striker, Josh Windass, very well known, very outspoken. He's actually taken to social media and said that this is the maddest thing that he's ever seen happen in football. He thinks that playoff should be replayed, with Wrexham having part of it. Now, it's very unlikely to happen, but that's certainly what he's calling for. I have spoken to Wrexham Football Club. They tell me today that they are monitoring the situation and looking closely to see how things develop. Now, I have been chatting to Tim Edwards. He runs the Fearless in Devotion podcast, which is all things Wrexham Football Club, and he tells me that this decision about Southampton has certainly got Wrexham fans talking.
If we were to be reinstated by hook or by crook somehow, and we were to succeed in those playoffs, that's always going to be tarnished by the actions of another club, you know? So I'm not sure I'd want that hanging over us, which sounds ridiculous really, but I kind of want Wrexham to do what we've done the last 3 seasons, you know, or prior to this one, which is to win or get out of the division on merit, and done with the best interests of the club and the fans at heart, really.
And what about the Hollywood owners? Well, Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds haven't said much, but Ryan Reynolds has himself put a photograph on social media of two actors from Spies Like Us film with Southampton scarves on. So he's having a laugh now, but if it changes, he might be very pleased.
Fans also will be watching this eagle-eyed. Joe, thanks very much indeed. Now let's get a reminder of tonight's top story. The First Minister has refused to set out an exact timetable for plans to expand free childcare. The party has pledged to provide 20 hours of funded care for all children over 9 months. But on a visit to a children's centre in Merthyr, Rhina Pureworth declined to say exactly when this would happen. Still to come on the ITV Evening News.
Coming up on the programme, the Prime Minister postpones an increase in fuel duty as the government changes its sanctions on Russian oil. The latest on Spygate. Southampton appeal their ban from the Championship playoff over a spying scandal. And the Jurassic mystery is solved, why the T-Rex had such tiny arms. Would you join me for those stories and more at 6:30?
There you go for the football story. It's what everyone is talking about. More on that with Mary. Now, since it began in 1876, Swansea Amateur Operatic Society has produced some top-tier theatrical talent, including Catherine Zeta-Jones and Rhea Jones, no less. This year marks its 125th anniversary. And to celebrate, the group is staging the hit musical We Will Rock You. Dean Thomas Welch joined them for a performance and to meet some potential stars of the future.
The legendary music of Queen brought to the small stage. Tonight, Swansea Amateur Operatic Society will open its production of We Will Rock You with some of Wales's best amateur theatre talents.
The songs are incredible. There's so much dancing, the costumes are so fun. Everyone gets to live out their rock fantasies in this show. It's just so much fun to be a part of, and the band, having those guitar solos played by our incredible band is unbelievable.
It's been an incredibly exciting journey to not only just gather with some of South Wales's immense talent, but to sing the songs of Queen. It's not often get to do this, so yeah, as someone that's grown up listening to them, my father, who was a massive Queen fan, it's a joy to be able to sing the songs. Yeah.
The production, which runs until Saturday, marks the 125th anniversary of the Swansea Amateur Operatic Society. Through its history, legends of the screen and stage have passed through the company, including Swansea's very own Hollywood star, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Theatre in Swansea actually started in 1875 with the St David's Players, based at St David's Church down in the centre of Swansea. And they then became Swansea Amateur Operatic Society in 1901. So this is, as you say, our 125th year. And, well, we're still here. That's the main thing.
Rhea Jones, Catherine Zeta-Jones, various other people have been through the amateurs and have gone to the bigger and better things. But this, the base is still in Swansea. We have a fantastic director, fantastic MD, modern ideas. So the days of Desert Song and My Fair Lady and all of those, and time moves on, and then you end up with these lively rock and roll stuff. But do them. It's all fun.
So the curtain rises on tonight's show at the Taliesin Theatre, and for Swansea Amateur Operatic Society, 125 years on, the show must go on. Dean Thomas Welch, ITV News in Swansea.
It looks marvellous, doesn't it? Now, getting children to enjoy reading can sometimes be tricky, but one member of the team at Ysgol Pengaya in Llanelli has been doing just that. But he's not a teacher, as you might expect. George the Labrador has been helping pupils read by bringing calm and boosting their confidence. And he's so good, he has won an award for it. Katja Fowler went to meet him and found out a bit more.
He pulled the ones which felt cool into the middle, because
reading to George and Pat is one of Roman's favourite parts of the school week. For some young people, reading out loud can be a bit daunting, but with a four-legged friend by his side, he loves it.
What is it like to have George here when you're reading?
Helpful to help me read, It also helps me concentrate on my book because he's there protecting me while reading my book.
Well done. See you next week.
See you next week.
George has been sitting with these school children for the last 18 months. He helps them build their confidence and love for a good book.
The impact George has had on our children is immeasurable. Whilst he's only be able to see a small percentage of the children within the school, the moment he walked in through that gate of the schoolyard, he just transforms the children. But then the ones he does read with, their confidence, their fluency and their enjoyment of reading has totally improved.
He visits once a week, and whilst he doesn't have time to do this with every child, he makes sure there's more than enough puppy love to go round.
Hi, George. Hi, George.
But it's not just here they're singing his praises. Just last week, he made his way to Westminster to receive a very special award.
He was a finalist in the National School Dogs Alliance Awards for School Dog of the Year. He managed to become a top dog in the primary school section. He didn't win his overall, but he did so well. And he had a marvellous day in the Houses of Parliament and went to places where lots of dogs don't get to go.
What did he make of it?
He took it all in his stride. I was so proud of him.
I feel more confident with George.
And is it nice to get a little bit of a break from class?
Yeah.
In this playground, George seems to be doing a lot more than just making children smile. Katia Fowler, ITV News.
Oh, a very deserving doggy there.
Yeah, very much so, absolutely, yeah.
All praise to George.
Yeah.
Yes, you've got a story with the weather now, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, what is it?
A tail, a waggy tail.
Where's it leading?
Well, exactly. I don't know where we're going to go from this, but yeah. I have for you a waggy tale of sunshine and sizzling heat and a very happy ending, of course, for the coming weekend. But if you're perhaps not one for curling up with a good book and looking for something a little more active to take part in as the weather warms up, how about a spot of bowling? Llantrisant Bowls Club is on the hunt for new members, young and old, to join them. And Ella is there to tell us more. Ella.
Hiya, Ruth. Yeah, it's not quite sizzling, but it is quite chilly here at Llantrisant Bowls Club, but it's not putting off the members here nor the visitors, Regents. I'm very glad that there's a very lively game going on behind me, and I'm joined now by John, who is the club chairman. John, tell me a bit about bowls and how long you've been involved.
I've been playing bowls for about 40 years now. It's a good competitive game, and anybody can play it. You can play women, men, kids, anything. It's great fun.
40 years is a long time. Why is it that you've been involved for so long?
It's like a drug sort of thing, really. Once you start playing it, you get into it and you just carry on playing all the time. It's great, really.
There's a good sense of community here.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got a men's team, a women's team, and we are looking for anybody to join us, men, women, children, anything. We'd welcome anybody up here.
Oh, wow, it sounds like a great game to get involved in. Thank you so much. We're going to go over now and speak to Andrew. Andrew, tell me a little bit about how you got involved in bowls.
Well, I started playing bowls as I was coming to the end of my rugby career, and it tied in beautifully because the rugby season ends and the bowl season starts and vice versa. So it's another competitive sport that I could carry on with.
And you are trying to get new members. What's your message to anyone thinking of getting involved?
Bowls is a great way to spend some time. It's a friendly, laid-back sport, but it's very competitive at the same time, so they'll really enjoy themselves.
Right, I think there's only one thing left for it. I'm going to give you this, and you're going to give me a bowl. Show me how we do it. Ready?
Then
hold it like this.
No, if you turn it so that the small circle is on the inside,
Yep.
There we are, that's how you cup it. Now stand on the mat, lead with your left leg, and then bend low and roll the bowl with your
Ready?
right arm. Yep. Okay, that's going to be very close. Yeah, well done.
Woo!
Great ball.
Ella, I think it's safe to say you're a natural. a new club member in the making there, very much so. Well, lots of lovely weather to look forward to over the next few days. I'm very happy to say it is going to be perfect weather for bowling. Turning drier and brighter, temperatures are going to rise, and the good news is that this is likely to last as we head into the coming bank holiday weekend. Now, there's plenty of talk of heat waves. Is this technically going to be a heat wave? Here in Wales, we're looking at temperatures of 25, 26 degrees Celsius over 3 consecutive days. Probably, possibly not likely to be a technical heat wave, but it's still going to be very nice and very warm anyway.
Today's forecast, blue skies, followed by a spread of hot and cold plates. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Well, despite all this talk of summer sunshine, it's actually quite gloomy out there at the moment. A little bit on the breezy side with plenty of cloud, possibly turning a little bit murky through the mountains as well. By the second part of the night, the clouds thick enough to bring a few spots of patchy rain and drizzle, largely confined to western areas and nothing too troublesome. But look at these temperatures, barely dropping below 12 or 13 in Celsius across much of Wales, which is very, very mild indeed. Mild, yes, but not particularly cheerful as we wake to tomorrow morning. Further cloud, that mist and murk lingering. And again, you can see further showers just starting to track across the north and the west, easing through lunchtime. And then by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon, those showers will be a dim and distant memory. And this is where things start to look far more cheerful. So blue sky and sunshine starting to develop out towards the southwest. And look at those temperatures already starting to creep up. So 19 or 20 possible tomorrow, particularly if you do see that sunshine with high levels of UV, the sunshine building strength all the while. If you're heading out and about through tomorrow evening, again, a calm and quiet night. There is a frontal system that will start to work its way across western parts of Wales, but it's likely to bring cloud as opposed to anything in terms of wet weather. So by the time we get to the end of the week, it could be a disappointing start to Friday. That cloud, as I said, will show its hand. But on the whole, I think western areas will see the worst of it. Further east will be much, much brighter. And even out towards the west, the cloud will lift later in the day. But look at this. Highs on Friday of 22, maybe a 23, and again high levels of UV, and that trend, that story looks set to continue as we head into the coming bank holiday weekend. In fact, I can't remember the last time we had a weekend with barely a cloud, lots of sunshine, and just, well, frankly, look at those temperatures, no complaints.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather. Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
Well, grass pollen is coming into season now. Not the best of news. It's grass pollen that causes the real issues. Low levels through tomorrow, but as the weather settles, those levels will rise to moderate. No need for words.
No, you have delivered for the bowling club.
I know them.
They're going to like
sunshine.
that.
Blue sky.
That's where we're headed later. Thanks for joining us this evening. Rich is back a little later with the late update for you. From all of us on the Wales at 16. Bye-bye.